Look at you. You're on mute. I can't hear you. Have you been talking to me this whole time?
I was grabbing my canteen here.
Okay, okay. I love that view. I know I'm dehydrated. I've been at the gym and
Yeah, I'm gonna go after this. Yeah.
mm,
Uh,
you go late, huh? I gotta get it over with early.
t t today, I what did I do this morning? So I have a couple employees out of Egypt. They're Egyptian,
Okay.
and they do all my back end, all the fulfillment for the mentorship.
Okay.
So they are in a different time zone, so I have to catch them before they go to bed.
Okay. Gotcha.
So I talk to them in the early morning. So sometimes if there's like a pressing matter, I'd rather get on a call and then I switch to my morning routine to like go to the gym after my day.
Okay.
And yeah, how are you? How's everything?
I'm wonderful. So good to see you. I kind of miss you.
I
I don't
know
miss
it's
the
been so long.
hospital, but I miss kicking it with you at work.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
so
I
proud of
know. Good
you.
old days.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, you're there too. I'm glad I can be part of your journey as it starts to take off, right? So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I am so glad to have you. You're inspiring. I mean, like, you've done some amazing things. Like, I mean,
thank you
just
so much.
with your your initial challenges you said you had with entering real estate and then getting
Yeah, it
in
was.
real estate, like that is so inspiring because so many people would have just given up, and you just kept going. So, I'm hoping that you can help inspire other people, while they're managing their nursing careers, while they're working these 12 and a half hour shifts, just giving them some insight on what that looked like for you and just giving them some inspiration on how they can make it work because so many people feel like they just cannot get it going. They feel like they're limited in their time, and I know you've juggled all that.
Yeah,
So rather it
yeah,
be
yeah, yeah.
mentors, coaches, your partner, whatever. So yeah, so if you can just tell the nurses a little bit about your story and where what how it all
Yeah, absolutely.
I have music
Well,
playing too.
thank you
Is
for
that
having me.
okay? I have music playing. Is that okay? Because I
I
mean,
could barely hear it. Yeah, that's
okay,
fine.
okay, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate you setting all this up. I like having these kind of talks because so I have like kind of a I don't know if you ever read the book Go Giver, The Go Giver. So I have that go giver type of mentality where sharing personal experience and teaching and mentoring is it kind of fulfills me, right?
Yeah.
So I like it feels good right after, especially when you start seeing successes, right? Um, but moreover, a little bit about me first. So I was what nurse an RN of I think I was 7 or 8 years into it
Okay.
when I came to the age-old question, what's next? And I want to retire my parents, and that definitely cannot be done with a nursing degree, right, or a career. Uh, what am I gonna get into? So it's funny. I would type, during downtime, the night shift, I would type in uh, ways to make money online or something, right?
Okay.
And see where that would go. It's funny because then they would say wholesaling real estate or real estate this. Come to a free, 1 day workshop. Cool. So I went to that workshop in Pasadena. I still remember it was in Pasadena. And it just opened my eyes like, what? This is crazy. Like the strategies they were doing and all this. And I was like, wow, if I can make this into a business model, maybe I can retire my parents sooner than I think, right? Because all I wanted to do was like maybe pick up a duplex, rent it out, and maybe cash flow a little bit.
Yeah.
But it became something else. And I came to this crossroads around the seventh or eighth year mark at Keck. What am I gonna do? Um, am I gonna go full blown into it and really take this seriously, or am I just gonna dabble and do houses on the side here and there, right? But
Mm-hmm.
when I took this training, I knew that I was pretty clear that I was gonna leave my nursing career eventually, right?
You had that
And I
confidence.
think, yeah, and then that 12th year came when I was doing, from seventh year to 12th year, I was doing real estate together with my career. But as my real estate career was taking off more and it got better, I was reducing my hours down to per diem at the hospital, and eventually I let it go, right? And I remember that conversation you and I had in December, right before the holidays. And I typed out literally that. I think we had that conversation on Friday, and
Yeah,
that Monday I typed out my resignation letter, and
yeah,
then that was it. So that was what, like 2 years ago or whatever, and and then that was it. I burned the boats, right? Burn the ships and take the island. Don't look back. So
absolutely.
yeah. So after I did that, literally it was like a hockey stick projection. Like I exploded, and here we
Compound,
are now.
your compounding
Your
moment
com-
that you've experienced
yeah,
after sticking with it for so long, and it's like an even keel. You got your ups and downs.
yeah,
All of a sudden,
yeah,
explosive moment. I remember when you were telling me how hard it was for you to let nursing go because you had worked so
yeah,
hard for this degree and it was just tough for you to let it go despite the fact that you were doing great in real estate. Like you were already accomplishing great things, but you just could not
yeah.
let nursing go. And I remember telling you, hey, just write the letter. Just go ahead and write the letter. Just you don't even have to give it to
Uh,
him. Just write the letter.
yeah,
And talk to
write it.
you a
Yeah, I
month
did.
or two later, you're like, I quit. I'm like, awesome. And I wanted you to write that letter because I knew that 12 and a half hours, whether it's one day or 2 days at the hospital, that's time you could be given to yourself. Rather, it's just relaxing, getting inspired to do something else. And it seems like you started doing something else. Like you just took off you told me you were
Yeah, it
now.
just yeah, yeah. So so during COVID, funny story, during COVID, I it took me 8 months to put this real estate coaching curriculum together. So it looks very professionally done. Like it's on Teachable, like it's like on a platform that hosts um educational courses. So I
Okay.
put it on that, and so it's not teachable.com, but it's Kajabi, which is
Okay.
another platform
Yeah.
that hosts. And so I put that course up, I set it all up, I spent a ton of money on everything, right? The production, that everything looks cool, and I called it the Relentless Investors, right?
Love.
And then so I just sat there dormant during COVID. We were busy working, and I was still at the hospital doing crazy hours because a lot of COVID patients. And so it just stood there. So the minute I quit and I said, you know what? I'm gonna go all in. I'm gonna do real estate and teach at the same time because it fulfills me, and I'm probably gonna have an amazing time doing it. So when I did that, some of these students' lives were like changing dramatically. Like Anthony, you don't know what this means to me. Like my life is never gonna be the same. I didn't know you can make this kind of money in real estate doing this. So, just last week, one of the mentees closed on her first fix and flip, and she made 80 grand.
Wow.
So, on a 4-week project. So, that's
Wow.
the power. That's the power of being in the right circles, losing your friends that are not going to benefit you, making your circles that much smaller, but the quality's higher, and then just like getting mentorship or coaching from someone, of course, that has a track record. I've done over 100 deals now, so I've come a long way. I've been total now almost 8 years in real estate now. It's been 8 years. Can you? Time
Congratulations.
flies. So
Wow.
it's been 8 years.
Okay.
And I just got back from Dubai 2 weeks ago, and I made some great connections over there to bring foreign investment back to the US. So just amazing things
That's
like that. Just
awesome.
traveling, living life on my own terms, coming and going as I please. It's just no other feeling like it.
So that 12 hours that you just could not let go of at the hospital. Do you miss it at all?
Absolutely not.
Well, congratulations on everything. I want you to tell a story about how you managed to do that whole balancing with real estate and your nursing career, because I mean, working 12 and a half hours just 3 days a week seems to burn people, and they just cannot keep up the momentum, the consistency that's needed to see the success that you've seen. How did you manage to do that? I know you have an amazing
So,
business partner.
yeah, so, I think I think remembering your why and how come you're doing this, even during the tough times, if you don't have a strong enough why, it's going to be very difficult for you to stay consistent. It's going to be very difficult to stick with it. I knew that once I retired my parents, okay,
Mm,
that's great, but
mhm.
I got to make the consistency in income to maintain that result, right?
Exactly.
So, I think I had an first you got to make sure you time block. So for those that don't know what time blocking is you really got to time block your days out very well. I use Google Calendar, and time block there, but really I time block in increments of 30 minutes
Okay.
um, throughout the day. So when I wake up, I know exactly how my day is gonna go. I know exactly what my day is gonna look like. So, and then I always leave space, open spaces for anything the dynamic that might happen, right? Um, but I think having that strong why is really gonna get you through that because being an entrepreneur is not for everybody.
Right. Right.
I tell that to even the mentees that come in, like, hey, listen, because I gotta disqualify these people first, right?
Mhm.
I tell them this is entrepreneurship is not for everybody. Number one. Number two is going to require a massive amount of commitment. Number one. And number two, massive action taking. And if you're not at the right place in your life right now to do those, to put the commitment in and to take the action, this is probably not for you at this time.
Mhm.
Because the reality is if you're gonna see any kind of good results come in, you gotta have those two minimum requirements. And
Mhm.
so you gotta write down your 1 year goal and your 5 year vision and really stick to it and having the purpose of why you're doing all this. Are you doing it for someone specific, your kids, your family, or your mom or your dad? Who, what why put yourself through this initial because entrepreneurship is difficult and it's going to have its tough times, but the reward just outweighs the fact that you did it on your own terms and it feels so good afterwards. There's no challenge that becomes too great, right?
Yeah.
And so when you feel those moments, just remember your why am I doing this, and then you're like, yeah, no, I'm you know my parents really look up to me now, and when you're a nurse, you gotta think on your feet and you gotta problem solve quickly. So I guess
Mhm.
that better suits us for being entrepreneurs, right? Because at the end of the day, we're problem solvers. And one thing that Tony Robbins said that really resonates with me, and I always repeat this to all my students, is that we're always gonna have problems. Every day we're gonna have problems.
Right.
If you don't have problems in your life, you're not living, right?
Right.
And
That's
so you wanna have problems, but what you wanna have is as time passes by, the quality of your problems need to become better, and that's when you know you're growing. So the quality of problem must be better. You're still gonna have the same problems, but if you're still having the same problems you did 10 years ago now,
you're stuck.
you're not growing.
You're
You're
stuck.
stuck because like, why am I still having these $2 problems? Now I'm having million
Million
dollar
dollar
problems,
problem.
$1 million solving problems, right?
Yes.
And it's crazy. If you were to drop that same problem, if I had that same problem 10 years ago, I would probably be ill equipped. So that's
Yeah.
why as I get better, my problems need to get better too. Now, if
Right.
I'm having the same problems over and over, something's wrong. I'm not growing.
Say that again. I absolutely, hey, it's, it's all, we're, like you said, we're all going to have problems. but it's about how you
Yes,
respond to your problems. And the way that
yep,
a person that makes 200,000 responds differently to their problems than a person that makes 2 million a year. It's just
exactly.
they
Yeah,
respond differently, and it's just a
yeah,
different frame of mind. And that's why I say mentorship and coaching is so important, because when you're trying to figure these things out by yourself and you see these little $2 problems, you need someone to put it in perspective for you and say, hey, this is like,
correct.
let's just do this. It's nothing, like, because it's your limitation. That's your limit,
Right.
and that's your
That's
standard.
the limit. Yep.
So that's leveling up. You totally leveled up. And I mean, that is just so inspiring. It's so like when you were researching, Tony, and you're like how to make
Hmm.
money online, there's like a million different ways to make money online.
Yeah, it's a gazillion things.
So
And
much
I was like,
noise. And I know so many nurses that have done that same thing. I mean, it's a common thing, how to, because you hear about it all the time. It's possible. How did you weed out all the noise? How did you say, you know what, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going for?
so I think really being true to yourself and your capacity and knowing your true skill sets. So look, at the end of the day, this is what I'm good at. And this is what I always tell everybody. I know what I know and I know what I don't know. And I don't care to know what I don't know. I'd rather have put someone in place that's really good at that and knows that 1,000% better than me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I saw, okay, real estate actually has a really lower barrier of entry,
Okay.
right?
Right.
Um, you can relatively do it right. All you gotta do is get some training on it because you want to do it right.
Right.
So what I did was I saw all these things about making money online, and then I would say real estate. So I kind of wrote down everything that entails what I had to do as first. But I noticed that for real estate, it's a people a person to person skill, right? People talking, and it's really it's kind of a B2B, right?
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I knew that I'm really good. I'm extroverted. My skill sets are right. I'm a high I, right? So I'm my trait is driven by influence. So I like being around people. I like working in groups, teams. I don't like being alone. I don't like working in a cubicle. I'm extroverted. I like being out and about, outgoing, and I like networking events, right? So
Okay.
I knew, okay, real estate's probably what I want to do actually because it involves all the key traits that I have that I'm good at. What I don't like, creating spreadsheets, I don't like that. Right? It
Okay.
doesn't fulfill me. Like I can do it and it'll take me forever and it get done, but I didn't enjoy the process. Some
Right.
people love spreadsheets. I have people on my teams that love spreadsheets.
Right.
Hey, I want the formula to do this. A, B, C, D. Can you build it out to me? The next day is done,
That's
right?
right. Yeah.
So as long as I know what I can do really well,
Mm-hmm.
I just go all in on that. So
Okay.
real estate was something that I'm really good at. I'm gonna go all in. At first, you have to wear all the hats. I was my own bookkeeper. I was my own accountant. I was my own project manager. I was my own deal finder, right? So
Yeah.
I had to wear all those hats the first year or so. Then my first hiree was office admin. The minute you free up all your time from office admin work is when now you can go and focus more on finding deals.
Leverage.
And then that's just the net leverage. And that's just the natural progression. Now I have a team of 14. Um, and I have to say there's a lot of stuff going on in the background that I don't even know about. And that's fine because that's
Right.
being an entrepreneur CEO. You wouldn't even want to know what's going on back there because then your attention goes to that or you're in there. You have your hand in too many pots and you don't want that.
That's that passive income.
My Yeah, that is true. So I always tell even my sister, so my sister does our property management. I own 49 doors. I'm in the middle of underwriting the largest deal ever. It could be it's a $30 million portfolio with 150 units in it in Orange County.
Oh,
So
congratulations. Wow.
thank you. So I know when I said I know what I know, I know what I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how to syndicate large deals like that. So who did I bring in to share my equity in with? Because you can't be greedy in this game. I'm
Right.
sharing my equity with a syndicator, Gina. She's amazing. I'm sharing my equity with the realtor that found the deal because I'm not greedy. And now he's gonna throw in his commission in the pot. Think about it. A real estate agent commission on a $30 million transaction is a lot of freaking
Yes, it is.
and I'm paying because it's an off market. I told the seller I would pay for the commission, which
Wow.
he loved. That's how I got the deal. You
Wow.
give them an irresistible offer, right? So think about that.
I mean, what
I
percentage is
make
that? What do you get on a, I mean, because I've never done like a $30 million deal.
like $900,000,
Oh.
almost $1 million goes to commission. So I negotiated to 1% of 30 million, which is 300,000, and he's throwing that into the pot into the deal, and I'm giving him his equity share, right? So he's very excited about that. He said this could potentially change my life. Anthony, why are you so nice? I'm like, well, I know that if I give up a piece of the pie, the pie's big enough. It has room to give out pieces. I know that now I don't have to be as involved, and now I can go and use that time to go make more money in Dubai, or I'm going to Saudi Arabia in about 2 months, or Saudi Arabia. I don't want to be in the office looking at spreadsheets on the syndication deal like this.
Wow.
So turns out he has a cousin that has another portfolio. And when you do good like this, when you do good by people, the good karma comes back. Turns out that the cousin has another portfolio that's bigger than the one we're buying in Orange County.
Oh my
So you
God.
could only think about like all the greatness that comes in the positivity because of the go-giver mentality. You gotta read that book. It's a good book.
Okay. Okay.
Um, it's all about good karma, doing right, and having integrity.
Yeah, yeah, that is amazing. I mean, I love how you have leveraged the team. And I
Yeah.
mean, it, I'm working with beginning entrepreneurs, and a lot of them can tell me what they don't like. A lot of them can tell me
Yeah.
what they don't want. But the way that you just broke down everything that you're interested in and what you like doing, that had to take up. I mean, how much of a process was that for you to get through that? Just figuring
Well,
out.
it it took me like 6 years to figure that out because I was
Yeah.
around running, doing everything. Here's the
Okay.
problem too, though. It's a control thing.
It's
So many entrepreneurs can't let go of that control. They
yeah.
have to be in everything,
Yes.
and you can't scale that. That's never going to be scalable, right?
Yes.
So the minute yeah you can let go of control, you will get your time back. Your life's going to change.
Yeah.
But because you're so used to doing it over and over, you doing everything, you being in the know of everything, you have to know what checks are being cut out. I don't want to know that. I don't need to know that.
Yep.
I
Yep.
just need to know is send me the P&L for the week, and I just want to know how much money went out and how much money went in, and are we balanced? Yes. Okay, great. Do I owe anybody money? No. Okay, great. So I have an accounting department. I have an HR department that does our hiring. I
Yeah.
have acquisitions department, dispositions department, and I have a IT department.
Oh my goodness. That is really amazing. I mean, how did you get to the point where you just were like, okay, I know I need to leverage? Like, was that just a
No, that's not, so I spent over $100,000 in different business coachings because there's levels to the game, right?
oh,
And so I've paid $40,000 for a 1 year business mastery coaching just for entrepreneurs to
mhm.
scale their business and put in systems. And the reality was, if I wouldn't done all that, I think I was still trying to be figuring that out on my own. So one
Right.
thing I've also learned is, why the heck am I going to try to figure this out on my own?
There
Just
you
go
go.
pay a coach who tells you how to
There
do it,
you
and you're done.
go. There you go.
So all that generated a ton of money for me. That the 100 grand that I've spent in all these is that it came back to me tenfold.
And I hear that all the time from successful
But you
entrepreneurs.
got to make sure you get it from the right people because there's a lot of bad
That's right.
operators
You
out
have
there,
to be
right? So
intentional
you
about it.
you have yeah, and you have to vet out who you're gonna pick as a coach.
Yeah, I agree. I
Yeah,
agree.
Yeah.
And so many people, they much rather pay for a grad degree. You know, if you tell them, oh,
Yeah.
you go back to grad school and you can become an MP, you spend what, $60,000 on education and you get a MP degree. They're so comfortable with that. But if I said dish out 60,000 for a coach, they're like, huh?
Yeah.
I'm doing that.
Not and then and
People, Tony, I have entrepreneurs right now telling me they won't pay more than $500 for a coach. And you wonder why you're stuck in your business, why you're not growing.
yeah,
People
yeah,
don't understand the
yeah,
importance of that. It's
yeah. It's
major.
crazy because it's crazy because like I said, I'm not the cheapest mentorship, but I'm not the most expensive. And I priced it well where it makes people serious, like, hey, you
Mm-hmm.
have $25,000 25,000 reasons not to walk away for this. And I told them the reason why I priced it that way is because first, if I cheapen my product, people are not gonna take it, they're gonna take it for granted, they won't appreciate it, and they can easily walk away. You overprice it, people can afford it, they can't get it. You hit it right around the middle, right around, the sweet spot, and then you go, this is what my time is worth.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
your time value also goes up.
Not only that,
I used
this
to
is the
charge,
value I'm adding to you. This is
yeah. So and here's my irresistible offer. And remember, this is I keep saying irresistible offers because everyone should have an irresistible offer in their business. My irresistible offer is that when you get into my coaching, you're joining a community, right? And
okay.
I'm building a community where people do deals amongst themselves. They learn from me. I wholesale you your first deal. You fix and flip your first deal. And you're probably going to make six figures on your first deal because that's the only deals that I want to do. And that's to make sure that those are the deals that you do because they must be that profitable, at least 100 grand in 90 days because of the current market conditions. You don't want to lose your shirt, right?
Right.
And so I tell them, your first deal is going to pay for what you spend on yourself.
There you go.
When that day happens, you tell me, was it worth it?
There you
But
go.
if you don't take the massive action and the commitment, like I said, you're not
Right.
going to get to that goal. Don't
Right.
even pay me the money. Here's your money back because I really don't like time wasters.
Yeah.
And so I tell them, you got to be in a good place for you to take this on. This is going to be tough because you got two things going on. But you
Right.
say your goal was for you to quit, right? Yes, yes, I want to quit. Okay. These are the things you got to do so you can quit. And
Mm-hmm.
then we go from there. So you just got to be honest with yourself. Is
Right.
this something that I'm willing to sacrifice? Going out, movies, decreasing family time. Will my wife understand? I want better for them. Of course,
Right.
they're going to understand because they love you. They're going to know you're going to go through a little bit of sacrifice. But if you do everything and you commit and take the action steps, you should be fine on the other side.
There you go. There you go. I appreciate that. I mean, that's such an inspiring story, man. I am so blessed to have you in my life. Congratulations. I'm inspired. We have one guest, Brenda is on. I don't know if she
Yeah,
has
Brenda.
questions. I did want to allow people to ask questions, and I don't know if Brenda has any questions, but if you do, Brenda, just ask Tony. We'd be glad to answer. If not,
Ask away. Any burning desires. I always say this. Any thoughts, questions, or burning desires.
that's right.
Please let us know. This is what we're here for.
Yes, yes, for sure. I appreciate you for showing up always. And I'm wishing you much success. I'm watching you and staying inspired and keeping in touch and sending you all the good vibes and blessings.
Thank you
And
so much for having me. I appreciate you.
of course, I am going to definitely share this video with people. I had people that said they couldn't make it, so I am going to share it and hopefully, people get some inspiration and some good information
Yes.
from it. I appreciate your honesty and I know you got to go. It's 5:30. So I am going to end the session and I will see you on the other side, baby. Thank you. I love you.
All right.
All right.
Bye
Have a good
bye.
evening. Bye bye. Thanks, Brenda. Thanks for showing up. Bye bye.